What's going on, y'all? Dead Man Rashawn checking in. You already know who it is, but that's what's up. You know what I mean? Let's get it cracking, man. For those who don't know, man, I used to have this thing on Facebook years ago when I used to drive trucks. It's called EFF You Fridays. But now I just say EFF You Fridays. Everybody know what it is. You dig what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Everything is everything. You know, we back full effect on Twitch. So tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a homegirl, to tell her baby daddy, to tell his baby mom to hit that follow button. You know what I mean? Like and subscribe, do all that goodish. You know what I mean? And follow your boy on social media. We'll follow you right back. This is a channel where everybody gets a damn opinion. Everybody get it heard. You feel me? None of that Fox News nonsense. None of that The View nonsense. Everybody family here. We barbershop in the hood. You dig what I'm saying? So, if you got any questions, any of that, drop them down. Whatever you want to talk about. We talk about everything in here. From relationships to the Bible. You dig what I'm saying? If I know something, I'll spark on it. If I don't, I'll let you know. Hey, fam, I don't know what the hell you talking about. You dig what I'm saying? So that's just how we getting it cracking. You know what I mean? So anyway, little backstory on me. You know what I mean? Rapper, writer, singer, the whole nine. You know what I mean? Started out way back when as a young cat. You dig what I'm saying? My mom used to write gospel music, so I followed her footsteps. You know what I mean? But then once I started, once my nuts started dropping and my voice started getting deeper, as my grandma said, you start smelling your behind. I got out there and started switching the game up and started writing R&B joints like with New Edition and things of that nature. When them cats dropped, we just knew we were New Edition. And so all that goodish was popping off, you know what I mean? So, and then after that, I started switching to hip hop because my homeboy Step Ready, aka his real name is Tony Roof, but his stage name is Step Ready. He actually taught me how to rap, you know what I mean? And because I was doing theater and drama, I wanted to be the next Denzel Washington. I didn't want to be the next LL Cool J. I really didn't care about rap music growing up back then. I listened to it, but you know what I mean? It was what it was. You know what I mean? It's just like getting your hair cut with a fade. You could have just got the shape up, but everybody, it is what it is. So my homeboy, I went to his crib one day and went up to his room and stuff, and opens the door. He laying on the bed with a big ass boom box in front of him. And, I'm thinking it's the radio, and then it hit me. That's not somebody I don't know. Like, that sounds like Roof. And I was like, yo, that's you? And he looked back like, man, what the hell? And I was like, is that you? He was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't know you rap. He was like, yeah, I been knew how to rap. You didn't tell me. He was like, you ain't like rap music. I'm like, but now, hell, teach me how to rap. You like, you don't like rap music. I like, I do not. Teach me how to rap. And that's how I started rapping, literally. Not even gonna lie. That's how I started rapping. And growing up after that, man, he was just like, we ended up starting a group called Two Hype Crew, and then it formed into 190 Proof. And after that, we started getting it in. We started getting it in, going from show to show, town to town, city to city, rapping, dancing, singing. We was New Edition and Heavy D and the boys combined, getting it in. So, we started getting offers for record deals from Profile, Tommy Boy, Interscope. Later on down the line, Asylum, Interscope again. I had an opportunity to sign under Master Ace with Capitol Records. This was before he did. Sitting on Chrome and Jeep Ass Nigga. You know what I mean? Those joints. Yeah, man. It was. Yeah, I've had opportunities to get it cracking. You know what I mean? But like I said, once you start growing up and learning the business, learning the game. But the deal with Master Ace, and shouts out to Master Ace, I would have signed that deal, but I was in a group. Like I said, I was with 190 Proof, and they wanted me as a solo artist, and I was young, bro. Like, young cat, man. Just getting out of high school and all that goodies. I ain't know no one from the small town, Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina. It was like 6,000 people live there. You know what I mean? Hell, you got 6,000 people work at the damn post office in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So we didn't know nobody. We didn't know nothing about the game. So I didn't take the deal. I was scared. I was scared as hell. You know what I mean? And dude was like, man, you gonna leave us? And I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have took that deal if we was like man on man, something like that, I would have probably took it. But this was like after the show, we had opened up for them. Queen Latifah was there, Heavy D and the Boys, MC Light, you know what I mean? And cats was all in the hotel because my homeboy Larry Curry, his younger brother Omar, was in the group with us. Not Larry Curry, Larry Jackson. Larry Curry was my former manager. And shouts out to Larry Curry, by the way, and all the Curry family down there in Batesburg, Leesville. You know what I mean? South Cack in the building. Yeah. But, yeah, man. And Ace, after the show, Ace was like, yo, I'm gonna holler at you. And he was like, yo, you know what I mean? He was like, yo, man, you got it. You got it. And he kept saying it like that. Like, okay, dude, it's a room full of people and you saying, you got it. Not y'all, you. You know what I mean? We kind of get the hint. And I'm just sitting there like, word, thanks, man, thanks. He was like, you know, he was like, man, you got it, bro. The stage presence, the show, how you looking at the people, how you talking to them. And I'm like, thanks, appreciate it. You know what I mean? Looking around like, you know, kind of like backhanded compliment type of ish. But he was like, yo, man, I'll sign you right now, man. You come with me. You get on, you know, I'm coming out with an album called Slaughterhouse. It's the whole crew, man. Paula Perry, Lord Digger, I mean, Lachey, everybody, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, shit, that was up. You know, so I'm like, yeah, you know, so the whole time I'm rocking with him, like, word, that's what's up. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, well, I got this song, I got this song, I got this song, I got this song. Man, we finally finna get it. I'm finally finna be on TV. The whole world finna know my name. 190 Proof, we at the building. He was like, yeah, man, but it's you. I don't need a group. You know, this contract is for you. He had a 7 artist production deal with Capitol Records. Kind of like how Biz Markie had a production deal with Cold Chill and Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? That's how DJ Clue got on. DJ Clue got signed under Biz Markie. Diamond Shell, Granddaddy IU, rest in peace. Granddaddy IU, one of the illest MCs to ever grace the microphone. If y'all don't know who Granddaddy IU is, just go look up something on YouTube or Spotify and just hit the follow button. He's one of the dopest, man. But Master Ace had the same deal with Capitol, and I was supposed to be in one of those 7 that he was supposed to sign. And I won't say he could only sign an artist, not a group. And like I said, man, I was young, bro, fresh out of high school and all that good ish. We young cats, man. 17, 18, 19 years old and stuff like that, man. So at that time, man, we didn't know. We was young, bro. We didn't know the business like we know now. I mean, it ain't too much about the business I don't know. As y'all see on the wall back there, ain't too much about the business I don't know. But back then, man, you know, you young, dumb, full of corn. And like I said, man, if he would have like, yo, let's go talk, I probably would have did it. But he said this around everybody, bro. Everybody. And you know what I mean? And Step Ready, he was like, so you gonna do the deal or what? And then Step Ready hit me, he put his hand on my shoulder like, yo, man, you gonna leave us, man, for real? Word? Oh, man, that's fucked up, Wayne. That's fucked up. And he walked off. He was like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know? And that broke me, man. I was like, oh. And Ace was just sitting there like, so what's up? I was like, damn. You know, but he done been through it, you know? And he didn't come in as a group. He came in as a solo artist. So it wasn't that kind of effect with him. It was like, whatever. And I was like, oh, man, you can't sign a group, man. You can't sign me, man. And he was like, all right, Playboy. Just like that, like straight Diddy style. He was like, all right, Playboy. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn. So I missed out on that opportunity, man. And like I said, after that album came out. I think it went gold. And then his album came out and went platinum. Lord Digger and all them guys, they started working with Biggie and on the Ready to Die album, that just went diamond. Lachey came out, and Fulton Street, and all this and that. And yeah, man, the rest was history, man. You know, Paula Perry, Queen of Fort Greene. Yeah, man. And so every time I see any of them, I just be like, damn, that could have been me. But, you know, it worked out. I mean, on the independent level for me, I never signed a major deal. I had opportunities, like I said, with Tommy Boy, when we was with 190 Proof. And but my manager screwed that all up. They wanted to sign us for 8 albums. And at that time, I was like, damn, that's a long time to be doing anything. I mean, even if you drop an album every other year, that's 16 years. You know what I mean? And at the time, the money wasn't the way it was now. The money back then, they was like allotting up to like 32 mil for 8 albums. Okay, that sounds like a lot of money. If it was a solo artist, that's dope. But that's not a lot of money when you're talking about 5 people. You know what I mean? For 8 albums. And you got to pay all that back before you start seeing something. So you really ain't made no money. Because back then, there was no home studios. You had to go to the studios. And these people was charging hundreds of dollars an hour. Every album back then was like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 songs. Producers was getting paid 20, 30,000 per track. You know what I mean? Engineers, you had to roll out, the marketing, promoting, merch, Good Morning America, Rap City, Video Music Box, everything costs. So that was not a lot of money, man, for that. And I didn't sign the deal. And they want to fight me. And I'm like, dude, I'm the only one here with no children. And on top of that, the contract states that after the first album, they have an option for me to go solo. I'm the lead guy. You know what I mean? Think about that. Think about if okay, let's just say SWV. And Coco leaves SWV after the first album. What's the other two gonna do? You see what I'm saying? It's like Cut Close. When old girl left Cut Close, Athena, which not let's say leave, but she went solo and tried to do the solo joint with Rap a Lot. It was alright. That was alright. You know what I mean? Wasn't nothing to jump for joy over. It was alright. But you see what happened. So you can't just say alright. You know what I mean? Because like I told them, if that was the case, I would have just took the Master Ace deal. They want me here for one album. It's like when Main Source came out and Lost Professor bounced after that album. You didn't hear from Main Source no more. You did what I'm saying? So that's where I was really, you know what I mean? I was really on them. And it just hurt me. You did what I'm saying? But, if I'd have known now what I knew then, know then what I know now rather, I'd have took the Ace deal. I would have took the Tommy Boy deal. And then the cats would have to just fend for their damn self. And I ain't, that ain't my heart to be doing stuff like that. So I just left it alone, you know what I mean? And a few years later, we ended up going our own separate ways anyway. And then I had the opportunity to sign with Asylum when Boozy was dead and Webby and them was dead. You know what I mean? And the dude was like, yo, I can't pay you a lot of money, but I can make sure that you're on, the next upcoming tour where you can start getting your money off the top. And at that time, they was going to be paying, it was a 35 city tour. They was going to pay me $7,500 per show. You know what I mean? So it was $7,500 times 35. You do the math. I was going to be eating. You did what I'm saying? I would be the opening act, 15 minutes on stage. So I was like, I was figuring it up. Okay, 15 minutes on stage, be the opening act, $7,500 for 15 minutes, 35 damn shows, I'll take it. And I'm signed to a label that's got 2 of the hottest cats in the game out with Webby and Boozy. All right, let go. And about 4 months later, before we started getting it popping, the label got bought out and dissolved. So that went away. So yeah, man, like I said, the opportunities was there. Probably if I would have gotten in before they got dissolved, I probably would have been a lot bigger. You know what I mean? But right now, it just didn't work out that way. So it is what it is. I ain't gonna even trip on it. But yeah, man. But like I said, man, I grew up doing theater and drama for 12 years, and because I wanted to be the next Denzel, I didn't want to be the next LL. But when Step Ready taught me how to rap, it was a rap literally, and I just started getting it in, writing and rapping and singing and dancing and the whole nine. And I've had opportunities, like I said, to be signed. Interscope, the Interscope joint, that hurt my heart. That was on some suckers for real, because I was driving trucks at the time, flatbeds as a matter of fact, and I came home, and at that time I lived in a trailer park in South Carolina, and I had to park my truck down probably about 50 yards from my trailer, because you couldn't bring it in there. So got out, as I'm getting close to the house, and it's hot. You know what I mean? Like 90-something degrees out there, beaming. Beaming. And the phone rang, and it's my manager. You know what I mean? Edward Strader, a.k.a. DJ Caprice. He co-wrote Who Let the Dogs Out? Who Let the Dogs Out? Ooh, ooh. My former manager. Shouts out to Edward Strader III. Holla at you, man. Hey? And we had a good relationship, man, but he kind of botched the Tommy Boy deal because of the money stuff. And then, like I said, once, you know, and I told him, man, if it would have been at least 2 albums, I probably would have went ahead on and signed it. And then he started wanting to cut in on the money. So I'm like, bro, you getting your 15%, and you want to be he was like, yo, man, you know, I'm already a DJ. I'm going to be the show DJ. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but that's not in the contract. I was like, you management. You the manager. You can't be having it all these ways, bro. You know what I mean? You cutting in on everybody else's food. You dig? You eating off everybody else's plate plus yours. He wasn't trying to hear that. So kind of just botched the deal. But then with the Interscope joint, he was like, yo, I got my man Ant on the phone, dead man. And I was like, Ant? He was like, yeah, he's an A&R Interscope. I'm like, word? Oh, what's up, man? What's happening? He was like, yo, what's good? What's good? Fozzie Bob, boom. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay. Now, like I said, I lived in a trailer, so I couldn't go inside in fear of the damn the reception to go bad. Because a lot of people know when you living in a trailer, now they're better. But back then it was like, you know what I mean? It wasn't that kind of party. You go in a trailer, and your reception pretty much gonna be gone. And so I had to sit outside in that hot ass heat. I had my hat on like this. And I was like, so whenever the sun would move, I would be moving the hat. I'd be moving the hat. You know what I mean? And so Ant is telling me, and I don't know if he's still there or not. If you work for Interscope, or you know somebody at Interscope, and you know, I guess his nickname was Ant. If you know what I'm talking about, then shouts out to Ant. You know what I mean? But he was like, yo, this was when 50 had came out with that song, Have a Baby Bobby Be a Millionaire. Remember that back in the day? It was like a one-off song. I don't know if it was off of a movie or what. But I remember it was 50 Cent had a song out, Have a Baby Bobby Be a Millionaire, something like that. But that was around that time. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what time frame this was. So he was like, yeah, man, I want you to write a couple songs. And I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah, but he was like, yeah, man, but Edward had let me hear this song you did called You Don't Want None. I like that. He's like, I would like to use that and get that to one of my artists. Okay. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, if the artist, you know, so I start talking. I said, so you gonna give him the song and not me? Like, am I on it or what? He was like, nah, I'm giving him the song to do. He said, if it goes gold or platinum, then I'll probably ask you for another one. And if that does the same thing, then I'll try to get you a single deal. Now I'm thinking, okay, all right, let's, you know, this is Interscope. 50 Cent, G-Unit, Aftermath, Eminem, you know, all this and that, you know, Snoop Dogg. I'm thinking this is the family that I'm thinking I'm about to be a part of. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm kind of with it. I'm like, okay, keep talking. Keep talking. And he was like, yeah, so if you with it, man, I can send over the paperwork and we can get things popping. All right, okay. All right, so everything is cool. Caprice is talking. He's laughing. Ant's laughing. I'm laughing. We're just talking about other songs and all this and that. So then when it's time to get down to business, Caprice was like, well, yeah, Ant, just send it to me. And he was like, and Rashawn, you know, just come to the shop. Cause Caprice had a record store in Columbia, South Carolina, off of Broad River Road. And shouts out to everybody that live off Broad River Road over there, by the way. And so I was like, all right, I'll come through the weekend, man. You know what I mean? It's a Friday, so I'll be there tomorrow, you know, because I'm happy. I'm like, yo, I'm about to be signed to Interscope. Oh, damn, that's what's up. You know, and he was like, yeah, man, blah, 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 boom. So, yeah, man, so now I'm here. I go, so what am I seeing out the deal? What do you mean? What do you mean? What I mean? How much I'm getting paid? Like, what's up? You want music from me, so I'm giving you music. He's like, yeah, you giving me the music. Ho. I ain't giving you nothing. Like, hold on a minute, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you want me to literally give you one of my hottest songs that we was planning on dropping anyway ourselves. And this is Caprice, who knows damn near every radio station guy. So I know I can get my music played. So what is we talking about here? He's like, nah, man, listen, man, this is how cats get in the game, baby. What you talking about? Look, man, I ain't in the game like that. All I know is when you do some work, you're supposed to get paid for the work you do. Now, I'm giving you this hot-ass song, and you telling me that you ain't gonna give me nothing. I said, okay, if I ain't getting no loot, how many points am I getting off of it? He was like, nah, man. So I ain't getting no points. So am I getting writing credits? Is people gonna be able to see my name? Because back then, people bought CDs. So you could read the back of the cover and it'll say written by, composed by, produced by, executive producer. All that was on the CDs. You did what I'm saying? So my name would have been there where people would know written by Dead Man Rashawn. So if I did get the deal and came out with my own joint, they would see, oh, he wrote that song for such and such and such. Cool. Now you have an idea. So when you see written by Neo, produced by Raphael Sadiq, or written by Faith Evans, or you know, whatever, you got an idea now. Written by Prince, produced by Jermaine Dupri. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, I said, so basically you ain't giving me no money, you ain't giving me no points, and you're not giving me no credits. So if I do get the deal, how the hell people gonna know who I am? He was dumbfounded that I knew this. Dude was dumbfounded. I'm like, what the? And I told Caprice, I said, Caprice, man, who is this dude, man? For real, man. I said, who is this clown, man? For real. And he got offended by that. He was like, yo, man, come on, man. This ain't how the game work, baby. You want the deal or what? I said, man, hell no. And I told him, I said, look, man, I know I'm from South Carolina. I mean, little country hit town here. And I said, but we don't have sex with our mothers and sisters and stuff like that. We ain't inbred down here. That's that hillbilly nonsense y'all see on TV. We don't do that down here. We black folk. We don't do that down here, bro. I said, now I would love to be the newest member of Interscope Records. You did what I'm saying? I would love, I said, and you giving me credit ain't nothing. I'm not getting a dime for it, but my name is just on it. And you can't even give me that. So if the song is played, I can tell people, hey, yo, I wrote that. You ain't write that, because if it's a known guy, and think about it, if it's Interscope artist, no one's gonna think a guy from Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina at that time wrote a song for a platinum rapper. You know what I mean? 99% of the people that's on social media right now don't even know where Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina is. You know what I mean? Even back then, let alone now. So that's why I was like, yo, come on. You ain't gonna give me no credit, bro? None? Okay. And I was like, nah, dude, deal is off. Deal is off. And I was like, yo, Caprice, man, don't ever put me in no position like that again. If you do, man, we done. And I meant that, because I was already reliving the Tommy Boy stuff. You know what I mean? And had to go through that where we was damn near on the side of the road finna fight. Think about that. We was about to fight. And that wasn't the first time that happened. And I was like, nah, man, I ain't doing this no more. And then I hung up the phone and Caprice called me back about like 10 minutes later. And he's like, yo, golden opportunity, man. This ain't no golden opportunity, bro. He ain't giving me no love, none. What you talking about, man? Man, get out of here, bro. But I think we kind of lost it after that, man, because like a year later, I didn't re-up, and I called it a day. And I just been doing me, man, ever since, man. And I'm glad, too. But, yeah, man, I just want to give y'all an idea of who I was. And like I said, I got a song with Rick Ross called Miss Me that's out. You can go check that out. I had a song produced with Maroon 5 called Running Away. You can go check that out. It was on my last album, On the Chain. I mean, I've done stuff with my man Faded Beats, who's done stuff with Snoop Dogg, X-Rated with Strange Music. I mean, I got some heat up under my belt, man. I'm mainly a behind the scenes guy, but I'm coming out now. You know what I mean? I've written a lot of music and got a lot of stuff in different movies and Pain Hustlers, Five Nights at Freddy's, and shit like that. You know what I mean? I had a little joint with the Hallmark channel. I actually posted that on my social media pages yesterday, I think it was. Yesterday or the day before, I don't know. I can't remember. I do so much stuff. But I do a lot of sync. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep my lights on. The albums is cool. I do that because I got so much music. You know what I mean? Because cats used to tell me all the time, why don't you get a record deal? Why don't you get a record deal? And look, man, if the right offer would come, I sit down and talk about it. But these record labels, man, they all about stealing from you and snatching your stuff. They ain't showing you no love. And it's just sad because they would make more money with doing right by people than, because now you don't have to do, and that's why I don't understand how record labels be so shady now in the digital age. Like, what's the point of being shady now? Like, I understood somewhat being shady back in the days where you had to physically move CDs and things of that nature, and you had to travel to go to, you know, we didn't have MP3s and stuff where I could just sit here and play a beat like I'm doing now, spit some balls, and then throw it in an MP3 and email it. We couldn't do that. When you did a song with people, you had to drive or fly to their studio. So it cost mad loot making music. That's why a lot of artists back in those days, they don't have the catalog like a lot of artists now, because you can just do it at your house in your boxers and t-shirt and panties and drawers, spit your song, email it out, and there it is, and have whoever you want on it. You couldn't do that back then. You had to get up, get out, jump on the plane, jump on the train, drive the car, whatever. So if Mos Def did a song with Snoop Dogg, somebody had to fly to somebody. You know what I mean? Somebody had to fly to somebody, and that cost time and money. Now you ain't got to do that. So I get it back then, but now, why you being shady now? That don't make no sense. So that's why I was like, nah, man. But like I said, just want to give y'all an opportunity to hit me up. But so this is a page, like I said, where now you can come to and say, hey, yo, Dead Man, let's talk about this, talk about that, talk about this person, talk about that person. I seen the Hulk Hogan nonsense, and I guess the next episode we'll talk about the Hulkster. You know what I mean? Rest in peace or rest in hell, however way you want to put it. Got a lot of tea to spill on him. You know what I mean? I seen Jess Hilarious tag me in that joint with what's his name? Neon Singh, that guy, calling black people monkeys and all this and that, when the whole get up is there's no evidence whatsoever that black people have any primate DNA, but you know who do? The people who look more like him. But anyway, you can Google that. Ask Siri and Alexa. Chat GPT. Chat GPT? Yeah, I mean, but anyway, Y'all hold it down. EFF You Fridays. We in the building. Next week, we starting to get it popping, and we finna get it in. This is my introduction to y'all that don't know me from Facebook and things of that nature. How the hell y'all doing? And like I said, go tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell his homegirl, to tell his baby mama, to tell her baby daddy, to tell her cousin and her uncle to go hit this like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? You ain't got to throw no loot on here. I ain't looking for that. I just want you to come through, show some love, share some time. You did what I'm saying? 30 minutes a day, and we just gonna pop, man. We just gonna get it together, and we gonna talk about whatever the hell y'all want to talk about. You did what I'm saying? Whether it's music or MAGA, whether it's religion or racing, doesn't matter. Let's get it in. Let's get it cracking. And shouts out to everybody that's gonna be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend. Everybody know I'm a big racing fan. You know what I mean? Shouts out to 2311. I see y'all. Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Riley Herbst. You know what I mean? All of y'all over there. Denny, do what it do. Actions Detrimental on YouTube. Y'all go check Denny's page out. Door Bumper Clear. My man Freddie Craps over there. You know what I mean? Holla at your man and them. Dead Man Rashawn. We're in the building. You already know what to do. Trademark name, the whole nine. So ain't nobody stealing this. You did what I'm saying? Holla at your man. Hit the like, subscribe, and follow all across the board. You hit me on social media, I'll hit you back. You already know what to do. Holla at your man.